The Smell of Rain, Chapter 1, written by Ian Massey. An artist whose work affected Burns profoundly during his foundation year was Frank Albach, whose paintings he first encountered at Marlborough Fine Art in London. The distinctive nature of Albach's work, with its oil paint layered in densely encrusted relief, was a revelation. It prompted Burns to consider the relationship between painting and sculpture in a way that proved fundamental to his subsequent development. Meaning and Matter, Chapter 2, written by Ian Massey. Given the nature of his own work, this distinction between impersonal autonomy and the potentially facile autographic sign is one to which Burns is also constantly alert, along with the fact that marks and images are at once singular and interdependent. It is this that was powerfully spelt out to him when he first saw Titian's late painting, The Flaying of Marsyas, in a show devoted to the artist's work at the National Gallery in London in 2003. Figure in a Landscape, Chapter 3, written by Ian Massey. Following his initial explorations of the Pembrokeshire coast, Burns returned frequently, almost always alone, gradually finding there what was to become the most significant and enduring source of his art. He refers to his courtship of the coastline as he immersed himself year-round in its geography and atmospheric conditions. As he navigates this terrain, Burns enters a state of sensory meditation in which he absorbs the visual, the physical, and the metaphysical. During each visit, he reconnects with what he describes as key points, a particular group of rocks, for instance, or certain corner of the beach. These he compares to the recitations of a rosary or a lament. Over time, in a powerful symbiosis of self and place, he has found echoes within these landscapes and contours of those of his own spiritual development, one that is far removed from the strictures of organised religion. A Sensory World, Chapter 4, written by Ian Massey. Allied to Burns is his interest in metaphysics, his fascination with synesthesia, the neurological condition in which multiple senses may be experienced simultaneously. For instance, visual perception of colour can trigger an immediate and involuntary experience in another of the senses. For example, in hearing or taste, listening to music might result in the sound being sensed as pattern of moving colours. This interest in synesthesia is made explicit by the title Taste of Sight, a series of paintings produced in 2005. About the Body, Chapter 5, written by Ian Massey. The connection between Burns's work and his own body has already been noted, as have the intimations of presence and absence, of both body and spirit, with which his own work is often imbued. Occasionally the implied body becomes more legible, more specific. For instance, there are drawings of Pembrokeshire cliffs in which their strata are mapped in broad swathes and delicate lines of graphite, pastel and watercolour, an articulation redolent of that of the human anatomy, as though figure and rock face are conjoined. Different Kinds of Light, Chapter 6, written by Ian Massey. In a subsequent journal entry in 2009, he wrote of a painting he was working on, in which he was striving to produce a truly white light, the white light which nourishes and feeds the soul, white light of snow or a crashing wave. For Burns, then, this correlation of light and whiteness is a powerful one, symbolizing the sustenance he finds in nature, a sustenance that is then transmuted in his painting. One might consider the wider significance of white, for culturally it carries many meanings: silence, purity, death. For example, in Burns's work, it is commitment with his stated central themes of absence, isolation, mortality, and the spiritual. The Line of the Horizon, Chapter 7, written by Ian Massey. Burns's thinking is often shaped by travels to other places and by the discovery of new landscapes, far from the confines of his studio in Cardiff. In September 2016, for example, he spent a fortnight in Iceland with the intentions of making a body of photographs that would inform a new group of paintings. Accompanied by his friend, the photographer Tim Collier, with whom he has long made annual field trips, he drove around much of the island's south coast, deliberately seeking out uninhabited places.